I tried to make my hair look like Nightwing for this video, but it failed tremendously. So DC Comics has been around for a hell of a long time, and in that time they've created some awesome comic books with a lot of great characters, and in this video I'm going to break down 10 of them that you absolutely have to check out. Just like my last few videos as well, this isn't my top 10 DC comics of all time, it's just some recommendations that I think everyone should definitely read at some point. Kicking off the list, we have Green Lantern Earth 1. So personally, I'm quite new to Green Lantern, and I thought this is a great place to start. It gives you Hal Jordan's origin story, and it gives you good insight to Green Lanterns, and it kind of has a good twist on him in this story, which I quite enjoyed. It's definitely a darker take on the Green Lantern character, but it does have a lot of the classic Green Lantern characters, and the artwork in the book is awesome, so definitely check it out. Next up, we have the iconic Flashpoint. So for those of you that don't know, in this story, basically Barry Allen tries to go back in time, well he does go back in time to save his mother from getting killed from the Reverse Flash, and then it basically creates this big new massive timeline with a lot of different takes on the characters. You have Thomas Wayne as Batman, you've got the Themyscirians up against the Amazons up against the Atlanteans. It's just this whole dark on the universe that Flash has to fix, and he knows what he has to do to fix it, and the question is, will he do it, and how does he feel about doing it? Great story by Jeff Johns, and it's what resets the old DC timeline and creates the new 52, and I personally really enjoyed it, and I think any Flash fan has to check it out. Or just any DC fans in general, because this is a DC video. You have Batman with red eyes and a sword, like what else do you want? Next up on the list we have a Gerald Way's run of Doom Patrol. I'm so glad that I found this comic recently because I had such a blast reading it. All the characters in it are great, they're quirky, they each have a great arc, and I really like that because sometimes in a team book, like you have a few characters with good arcs and then the rest of them kind of suck. Also, it's one of like the trippiest books I've read because it just goes between different things, and I thought it was like really cool, but it like made me a bit kind of like woo, but I did really love it, and also the artwork in it is insane as well, especially the attention to detail they pay with like characters like Robot Man, which I personally love. Definitely check it out, it's a great read for like DC fans, or even if you want to get into the Doom Patrol, this is a great place to start. Next up we have Teen Titans, The Judas Contract. In this story, Deathstroke is hired to take on the Teen Titans. We get that, and we also get Dick Grayson's transformation from Robin to Nightwing. It just shows you what the Teen Titans do when they're absolutely pushed to their limits, and what Deathstroke will do to hunt down a target, how he goes about it, and it's an awesome read, and it just shows the Titans struggling so much. There's a lot of dynamics in the team, like they're all fighting amongst themselves while trying to stop Deathstroke, and I personally had a ton of fun reading it, and it's one of the best comics I've ever read in my life. Can we also acknowledge as well how like the original Nightwing suit kind of looked like he was a member of ABBA. Next up we have the 1980s Superman and Man of Steel run. This is a reboot of Superman. We got his origin story, we find out how he gets his suit, and it gives you actually a good look at Krypton and what it was like before it got blown up. At the start of the series, we actually spend a good amount of time on Krypton, surprisingly, and they do come across as like kind of stoic and like kind of godly figures, but it's pretty cool because you see like the kind of values they pass on to Kal-El, who would then go on to Earth to become Clark Kent, and you see a mixture of those values, plus also Martha Kent and Jonathan Kent's values that it carries on from as Superman, and it's literally him becoming Superman for the very first time, and I thought it was a great read. It's just quite a charming story, and you get villains like Darkseid and obviously Lex Luthor, and you actually see how Lex Luthor loses his hair, which I actually thought was quite funny. The artwork is also very 80s, which I like, so I think there's like some sort of charm with that artwork, and I just love it. It's a nice like kind of wholesome series that people should check out. Next on the list we have Batman Year One. This is an origin story for Batman as well, and I really liked it because it was Frank Miller that wrote it, and it's just a kind of like darker take on his origin story, and I think it was actually the first time we get to see it in the comic books. Probably one of like the best written Batman comics in my opinion, and I do think, I prefer it to The Dark Knight Returns, because I think it's an awesome read, and the artwork in it is insane as well, and the imagery which kind of shows you is like you see Batman like lurking in the shadows a lot, he's going down, like he's taking down the rich people in Gotham who he knows is like eating off the poor and stuff. It's a great read, and actually you can really tell that the Dark Knight trilogy based a lot of the stories from this comic. Also, I love Batman's suit design in this book as well. It's very simplistic, and I just think it looks really good and fits very well with the book. Next up on the list we have the New 52 Wonder Woman run. I've just started reading this series and I am loving it. It dabbles a lot in the Greek mythology side of Wonder Woman, and I really enjoyed that. I thought it was an interesting take, and we also got a big reveal with how her buff, because they changed the whole thing of she was molded from clay, and I like that difference in it, and you get to see her balance being a hero while also trying to rule Themyscira. I thought it was a great read, and also has a great character arc for Wonder Woman throughout the series. Next up on the list we have Superman Red Sun. This story asks what would happen if Superman landed in Soviet Russia, and the answer to that is you get a pretty kick-ass Superman story. I found it to be a very interesting take on the character, and it shows you what would happen if Superman landed in the wrong area, and just kind of shows how his upbringing can affect who he becomes as a person when he's older. You also get different takes and different characters in this book. It's like Batman and Wonder Woman, which I thought was great, and also it's just the artwork in the book as well is insane. Next up we have the Swamp Thing saga by Alan Moore. So I've read the first book of this and I'm about to start the second book soon, but so far I think it's a great body horror. There's a lot of cool villains in it, and you really see how Swamp Thing struggles with the fact that he is a like walking plant, and how like people who he was friends with when he was a human, how this impacts him, and even like his love life as well. I think it's a great story, and it's definitely very different for the DC universe, because like I said, it is this like body horror, and you see how he copes with being this like monster as opposed to being like the cool guy he was before. It's a great story, and I highly recommend everyone checks it out, because like myself, I really love these body horrors and comic books like the Immortal Hulk series as well. So I thought this was a nice refreshing comic book that I personally really enjoyed. So finally, I want to mention Batman Arkham Asylum by Grant Morrison. So in this book, it's basically a breakdown of kind of Batman's psyche. You see him go through Arkham Asylum, and it kind of, every villain in this book kind of represents what's going on in Batman's mind. I thought it was really good, and it kind of gives you the idea, like, we don't know if it's a dream sequence or not, because Batman, he's not at his strongest in this book. You just kind of see Joker messing with his mind, just how all the, like, his supervillains despise him, how just much they want to kill him. It's a great story, and you see him going through Arkham Asylum. It is like one of the trippiest comics I've read, because the artwork is like kind of dreamy, kind of, if you get me, like, it's quite trippy. It looks like it's a dream, and the colours for it as well are just really good, and it can be quite disorienting to read, but that's not a bad thing for this book. I thought it fit very well for the story, and it just kind of shows you what goes on in Batman's mind while he's obviously being Batman. Quite hard to describe this book. It's one of those things where it's like you kind of have to read it as opposed to someone describing it to you, because it is quite a difficult thing to explain. But yeah, just take my word for it, go read it. So guys, thanks a lot for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, be sure to smash that subscribe button. I do a lot of nerdy content like comic reviews, comic recommendations, a lot of Star Wars stuff as well. So if you're into that, hit that subscribe button, and also let me know in the comments below what your favourite DC comics are, and smash that like button as well. I hope to see you in the next video guys. Thanks for watching.